believe that I'm anti-police. It's simply not the case. I'm anti-police brutality. And I need not remind you that the only loss and the greatest loss in all of this was that of Freddie Gray's life.
Yeah, some would say we may have lost the whole concept of what goes on in a court of law to have the prosecutor, Marilyn Mosby, denouncing the situation once the charges were dropped against those Baltimore police officers in the Freddie Gray case. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. J.D. Hayworth tag teaming with my pal who is telecommuting in again. Steve, as always, we appreciate your input since, after all, it is your show. And we, in turn, are joined by former New York police detective and CNN law enforcement analyst Harry Houck. Harry, you see Marilyn Mosby, and is there any rationale for her behavior in the wake of those charges being dropped?
You know, she's the one who's dropping them. So apparently she knows she has no case. She's lost all the other three. And the fact is that she needs to come out now and tell the community that she is the victim, the system is the victim, and that the police officers involved in this alleged crime, are still responsible for it. I said this from the very beginning when I started talking about this case, that there was no evidence at all. This was a malicious prosecution, and I'm actually calling for a special prosecutor to take a look at her and charge her with official misconduct.
And there is yet another case clear across the country occurring last night around 11 p.m. Pacific. 2 police officers shot in San Diego. One of those officers killed, another critically wounded. This scene was described as gut-wrenching. 1 suspect taken into custody. They're searching for more. These 2 police officers, part of a gang unit, but violence against police officers remains in the news. And Harry, I can't help but wonder, when you see what we saw this week at the Democratic National Convention, people trying to make a political case, almost it seems as if there should be an excuse for action taken against police officers.
Well, first of all, I think that the liberals, the Democratic Party itself, are looking for excuses, for bad behavior. The fact is that their attempt to turn the bad guy into the victim and the police officers into the perpetrator, which has been going on since probably Obama first became president of the United States. Look, the war on the police is active and is going on, all right? We just heard that Giuliani came on and said he saw no uniformed officers at the DNC on the floor, and he spoke to several officers. There were none on the floor, and they were told to stay off the floor. You've got police ambushes that are up 30% this year, and police officers being killed up 70% this year. So you tell me there's not a war on police, and every time we turn around, there's some liberal Democrat pointing the finger at a police officer. They're using Michael Brown as an example of what happened in Ferguson. Give me a break. He was even cleared by the Attorney General and the FBI under the Obama administration. So
Harry,
what are they looking for?
Harry, first of all, thanks for coming on. Always a voice of reason. I'm so proud to know you. When I watch CNN and I see you on the panel and against the others, and you're the lone voice of reason usually, and you do such great justice to the cause of respecting and honoring the police. And this Democratic convention was bad enough when they put the mothers of, as you said, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, and other people who were legitimately under the law killed in self-defense by cops or by George Zimmerman. That was bad enough. What took place yesterday, and the media will never tell you this, except Newsmax will, I want you to listen, as they had a moment of silent prayer for slain officers, a chant of Black Lives Matter took over. Let's listen.
Please help me in honor of all of American fallen officers with a moment of silence.
All right. I mean, and for Hillary to give lip service in her 45-minute speech, which is all it was, This is going to be, just like terrorism, Harry, this is going to be a defining issue. Law and order, as Donald Trump has labeled himself, against making excuses for thugs. It's plain and simple to me.
Listen, I agree with you 100%. And there's many Black Americans out there that agree with us totally. You know, you've got people. Look at Chicago. Chicago, 30 shootings in one weekend. One day, I think it was something like 30 on a Sunday or something like that. It's out of control. There are people that living in these neighborhoods, poor Black people, that are afraid to come out because that small percentage of thugs are running those neighborhoods. And you got the liberal Democrats out there embracing the Black Lives Matter group. I mean, it's totally insane to me. You got to look at this, Steve, and say to yourself, do they really want law and order in the inner cities? I mean, you just look at the past and what they do. And, as soon as they get elected, they turn their backs on minorities. And the same thing goes on in the inner cities. What's it going to take? And I think it's going to take like somebody like Donald Trump to get in there and tell those people, listen, I care about you. All right. We want you to be able to go outside with your children, take them to the park, hand in hand, and let them play and not have to worry about two thugs shooting it out and killing your child. That's what I am concerned about. I want to see that. I want to see Blacks in the inner cities of the community be able to go out and walk in the street and be safe and have their children safe. But I'm not hearing that from Black Lives Matter or Jesse Jackson or the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Harry, the curious thing about the Democrat convention is the message that Hillary was offering last night was what? Stronger together. And yet, as you point out, time and time again, they seize on these wedge issues and go with the grievance mongers. A case in point last night when the father of a fallen Muslim American soldier stood at the podium to attack Donald Trump. Let's look and listen.
Have you ever been to Arlington Cemetery? Go look at the graves of brave patriots who died defending United States of America. You will see all faiths, genders, and ethnicities. You have sacrificed nothing and no one. We cannot solve our problems by building walls.
Okay, I'm having a little trouble hearing the cut, but let me just say, as we discussed earlier in the show, my heart bleeds for this man, and his hero son was a hero, but to distort and twist on purpose what Donald Trump has said and what the death of his son means in the context of what he's attacking Trump for was, to me, disgraceful.
Yeah, I think this guy was schooled. And exactly what to say out here. It's a shame that he was used like that by the Democratic Party last night. And like I said, he lost his son, and my heart goes out to him. And there's really nothing I can say against this man at all.
Now, it is understandable with the loss of a son, but by the same token, we would have to put on blinders to ignore what is happening in our society. Yes, we can point out time and time again, there are law-abiding Muslims who love this country very much. Unfortunately, there are also people who don't love the country, who want to see us under Sharia law, and worst case scenario, the fears are those people could be involved in Islamofascism, Islamoterror. Witness what happened in San Bernardino. So we have to remain forever vigilant, even more so in this political season. Harry Houck, tonight from New York. Harry, we appreciate your time very much. And for those of you watching at home, don't move a muscle. Stay right here, because the program I host each weeknight, Newsmax Prime, starts right here on Newsmax TV in just 30 seconds.